she won't like dig me the knife.
He'd pick up little kids like he was trying to help them. But then he'd anally rape them.
He want to take like a 14 years old boy. He want to take him to his place, not by asking, by force.
He was forced Abdul to fuck him, and the children was like almost like a 12, 13 years old.
That's how he used to touch us.
When he raped me, he was holding a knife. At first he wasn't, but then he took it out.
He raped my friend. He pooped in his mouth and he was very happy.
What you just heard was just a small taste. You're about to find out more. We're talking about drugs, violence, sadism, pedophilia, and other perversions that the person in question took pleasure in. And all of this concerns one single person, an anti-cultist named Jakub Jahl. But let's take it from the beginning. Right now, we are in Tanzania. For 14 days, we've been here filming an investigative documentary about Jakub Jahl, a man who was supposedly here to help the local children, but instead, what he left behind are destroyed lives, ruined centers, and dozens of stories full of pain.
We've spoken to over 100 people. We've visited villages, homes, schools, government offices, and places where Jakub Jahl spent his time, and where, according to eyewitnesses, he did things that can only be called atrocities. We spoke with a 14-year-old girl who was repeatedly and brutally raped, and she was only 10 years old at the time.
We heard similar detailed accounts of rape from people like Ramadan, Modeste, and others. Similarly, dozens of people have independently confirmed to us that Jakub Jahl paid boys for sex in Tanzania and taught children how to be gay.
We also talked to the children he himself promoted on social media. For example, Juma and Arjuni. The children themselves described to us that Jahl would lock himself in a room with them while naked, where he would massage them, grope them, inject them with what he claimed was medicine, and force them into other absolutely perverted practices. Some of these practices were confirmed to us by their own parents, and believe me, what they described to us is absolutely appalling.
And that's not all. We have videos, written testimonies, and we have an official report from the Social Welfare Office. The police in Moshi have an entire file on Jakub Jahl. The immigration office confirmed to us that if Jakub Jahl hadn't left the country, he would likely be in jail today.
But when we released the first documentary, where volunteers, eyewitnesses from Africa, and a sponsor from Slovakia spoke out, Jakub Jahl began threatening us with lawsuits. He claimed that none of it was true, that those people made it all up because they had barely had any experience with him. So now you'll see for yourselves what barely had any experience with him really means.
At the moment, Jakub Jahl is on social media, bragging about filing criminal complaints and lawsuits. But what does that actually mean? Is he planning to sue the hundreds of Africans whose lives he has demonstrably destroyed? Or is he just trying to intimidate the people who are telling the truth about him?
We are standing in the Nature and Skills Center, a place that used to help children long before Jakub Jahl ever came here. People like Teresa, Ramadan, Bob, and many others used to work here.
But today, all that's left are empty walls and shattered dreams. And according to witness testimonies, Jakub Jahl is the one behind their destruction. Now, you will hear these first accounts for yourselves. They are the stories of the people who worked here and of the children who still remember it all.
When I found out that the project he had been promoting, by then it had already been 2 years, was not a real project as it was supposed to be, and that those children didn't even live there. It was simply a community center where kids would just gather and play. And Jahl knew it. We couldn't. We had no way of knowing it wasn't what it claimed to be.
Jakub is very bad man. I went to the orphanage, I was with the children. He was helping nothing. Only money was collected to the people there in Czech Republic. It was used for drugs and chewing mirror, something like that. And also was give to the young people, young boys, to fuck him. So because here people have a really hard situation of their life, so he was tricked because of his money. And when I asked him, he said get the money from the stupid Muzungu in the Czech Republic.
He just needed to film some videos with children to get money from people. Because having adorable African kids in a video who are hungry and asking for food, that touches every good person's heart. And he knew how to exploit that enormously.
It will help us even if you send 100 crowns. But of course, 500 crowns is great, and 1,000 is the best. If you are members of parliament or some rich people, you can certainly send more. We would be very grateful to you.
But even if you contribute 100 or 2 crowns, which some people do, if everyone would contribute in such a way...
You can send euros as well. 5 euros is great. But, of course, 50 is even better. But, of course, 50 is even better.
I look forward to having volunteers. It means further progress. It means more work, more money, more money.
Every day when I have a free moment, I write to my friends and acquaintances on Facebook and always ask them, please, please, please.
But, of course, 50 is even better.
But 1,000 is the best.
I met Jakub when I was working in nature and skills. He was coming from Dar es Salaam with 2 kids. The one called Abdul and another one is Exaudi. And he told us he's looking for the center for the to keep those kids. And we tell him that we have the center, you can take them to the center. So I take the kids to the center. Abduli, he was starting to show the behavior of homosexual. So we punish him about that bad behavior and asking him, where did you get this behavior? And he told that Jacobo, he was teaching them about that. We was not sure that Jacobo can do that. We was trying to ask another kid, which is Exaudi. And Exaudi, he told us the same thing like Abdul told us.
There is one of the children which is called Abdul, he's come from the Dar es Salaam. He was forced Abdul to fuck him. And the children was like almost like a 12, 13 years old. Was really, 12. Yeah, 12 years old. Yeah, and these children is get from the Dar es Salaam to bring him to Moshi. And these children, after when he teach them that behavior, he went to the school. That children, when he went to the school, was do some bad things to the other children, which is very bad. He's learning from the Jacob as well.
So, we're in the village where the first orphanage was. This is already our 3rd time here today, and we're asking people around if they know Jakub. We just filmed the first testimony. A bunch of kids showed up again.
Do you know this guy? This is almost Libby, okay.
They're really affectionate, friendly kids. So we're here to find out if the kids know Jakub. And some of them actually do. So now we're going to start filming with the kids.
So you know him, right?
He says yes.
Where did you know him, and where did you see him?
He used to hang around our place. He used to sleep there.
Who did he sleep with? Who did he sleep with?
With the kids.
With kids?
He were coming to sleep with kids.
Were you there at the center?
Okay, well, it's one of the kids who were there in the orphanage.
Were there times when he spent time alone with those boys?
Yes.
Did you ever see him touch Abdullah in some way, inappropriately?
Yes.
He says yes.
How did he touch? Was it inappropriately intimate in any way?
He touched him here and here, all over.
Can you describe what he did when he was acting in a bad way? What exactly did he do?
That's how he used to touch us. Here he was pricking us with sharp things.
He was pricking you with something sharp? So what was he doing? Was he injecting you with needles? What kind of needles?
The small ones.
The small ones?
There were syringes. I don't know what those syringes were for.
Was he carrying them around, or where did he put them?
Yeah, he had them in a bag when he was going somewhere. Sometimes I found them open. I didn't see anyone use them though.
Sometimes you saw these syringes.
Are there other children you know who also had contact with Jakub, or whom he was around frequently? Can you show them?
That one over there. She was born thin.
Do you think he likes kids?
No.
Did you ever see him maybe take children aside? Did you ever see him take, like, boys aside somewhere private?
Yes, he was only picking boys.
And what did he do with them there?
He was with them. He took a bag and they went together. He took them inside.
But what these kids just told us now, it's really shocking.
Because we thought maybe it was drugs and that he was injecting himself. But these kids just explained that he was injecting them, and only the boys. In secret, in a separate room where no one else was allowed.
Did you ever see him naked?
Have you seen him naked? Or just wearing underwear?
Yes,
Was it at night or during the day?
at night.
How was he dressed? No shirt or no pants? Was he exposing anything private?
He only had his upper clothes on. Only top, but nothing on the bottom.
And we don't know how, and we don't know what they're going to do in the children. But sometimes I saw with some fuel, I think I can say what, some fuels which like massage with the children when children was naked. And there are some pact which is not allowed to touch children in Tanzania, but him they touch children, even the girls and the boys, and they teach them some sexuality and some sexuality process.
I can't say exactly that how they were mistreated because they are too young even to say what they have been, how they were treated and how the Jakub and whatever they were doing with them.
Did he do something when someone peed? Did he hit him?
Yes.
Were you beaten?
Yes.
Did he beat you because you peed?
Yes, it was me.
How did you feel when he beat you?
Very bad.
Jakub used to come over at night, and that's when I heard Jakub was abusing the kids at 3 o'clock in the morning. Then I found out he was doing homosexual and molestation to children over there. That's why I didn't allow my own kids to stay with him, because I feared that he might also rape them at night.
A white man named Jakub appeared, who had authority in the building. When this white man came, I was 10 years old. He said he would take me to school. At first he promised that he would send me to school, but later he began to sexually harass me. I was too small to be able to consent to that. It was 10 o'clock at night. He came home at 10 at night. I was sleeping there on the couch. While I was on the couch, he started threatening me with a knife because I refused him romantically. So he started threatening me with a knife. He said he wanted to marry me. When he raped me, he was holding a knife. At first he wasn't, but then he took it out. The first time it was that he had a knife and came dressed.
We thought things couldn't possibly get any worse after meeting that young girl. But we were wrong. Now we're going to show you the testimony of a father and his 12-year-old son, a child who endured terrible things because of Jakub. Even after all these years, you can still see the deep fear and anxiety in him. What happened to this boy goes beyond all boundaries of humanity. There are things that no child should ever even think about, let alone experience. In fact, these children need professional psychological help and support. But you have seen for yourselves the difficult conditions these people live in. I don't even want to describe all the details. Just watch the boy's reaction when he sees Jakub's photo and listen to the testimony of him and his father.
That day, my son came home. He came home, and he was sad. Whenever I asked him what was wrong, he wouldn't tell me. Every time I asked, he wouldn't say. And because I'm just an ordinary man trying to make a living, I just kept on with my work. Then, after a while, I sat down with my son to talk. I said to him, "Please, if something bad happened to you, just tell me." He said, "Something bad did happen." So we talked. And then my son told me, a white man came and he said he wanted to help the children at the school, but he started doing strange things to us.
So, this is him?
Unamjua? Ni nani?
That's Jakub.
That's Jakub?
Okay.
What did he do to you?
Alifanya nini?
Me and my friend, I pooped in his mouth. He raped my friend. I pooped in his mouth. He raped my friend. I pooped in his mouth and he was very happy. I was very scared. Jakub raped my friend and I ran away. Jakub threatened us with a knife. That's why I ran away.
I asked him, what kind of things? And he explained. He said, oh, he made me poop in his mouth. It was scary and weird. I didn't get why he wanted that. But then he grabbed my friend who was also with us, and he raped him. When I saw it, I was so scared. I had to run away. I had to get out. He didn't run after me because he stuck to my friend and was raping him. He said it bothered him so much that he wanted to keep it to himself. I couldn't handle it because the center's closed and I'm a poor man.
You've just heard from people who, even after all these years, still carry deep scars. And for Rosie, those scars are literal. As we stood there in front of them with the camera, listening to their stories, only one thought kept running through my head. How can someone be such a monster? And how is it possible that this predator is studying to be a teacher today? Do we really want someone like that teaching children in a school one day? Imagine your 10-year-old daughter sitting across from you, describing how a man came at her with a knife, how he cut her while trying to rape her. What would you feel at that moment?
Jahl is studying to be a teacher. And what about his accomplice, Martin Malundi Chicho? He's actually studying at a police academy. Tell me, is it right for someone who's been complicit in such atrocities for so long to get a job where he's supposed to protect public safety? And whose safety will that be? You're about to see footage that reveals the real life of Jakub Jahl in Africa, the life he never showed on his social media. You'll see him spending time with a drug gang, and you'll hear the testimonies from more witnesses.
Well, as you can see, we are really stoned every day here in Africa. Stoned every day, stoned every day, stoned every day.
Can you say what's this?
This one, she just it's like one of the marijuana, we call it mira. Here, here a lot of people they use it, and Jacob was polite man people to use these things here.
Give the gum first. Give the gum first. Yeah, you can use it. You can still go, madam.
But you know, Zulu people, a lot of information. They know a lot of information, you know. But stupid.
There's a picture here. I think this is you. Where did you see him? Is this you?
I think this is you.
Me.
Yes, it's him.
Yes,
you.
Yeah.
Me. Yes. From what I saw, Jacob, he was into drugs. That was his life. It got so bad that he just became a mess. There were children around, and I don't like filth. I don't even like seeing that kind of filth. Drugs. That mess he was in, it was the same thing over and over. Every morning, Nu'd wake up and find him using drugs. He didn't have a job. He didn't do anything.
You see that here in Africa, we're actually high every single day.
So we're at the market. This one's called the Mbulu market, the bamboo market. You can see there are all sorts of things here. We're looking for a machete.
Looking for a machete. Looking for a machete.
So he was passing on the street,
smoking weed, and sometimes he was walking with a knife. Even one day he was like give one of my friend like injured with a knife, no?
In the end of time before he leave, he was used to use you know how we call it pam pam knife or what? Machete. He was used with machete. He put a machete and say no one can do nothing to me. I got money, I got everything, and I got people behind me who supporting me. So means in your country it is some people behind him. They're supporting him to come Tanzania to do those bad things. So please, what you do when you're back in your country, try to ask who was behind you. Who sent you there? Go and do bad thing because you promise you got the money, you work with machete, you can do whatever you want it. Can you believe it? Someone come in your country and you work with machete. That was not fair.
We're looking for a machete.
What that guy is? That's for those young boys or whatever. This and this. The swimming pool. Oh, this and this. Why? And say, oh, why you take someone it's at the not night good. at the swimming It's pool? not good. The children. And he was very angry. If you try to ask him like a few questions, why you does this and this? He was very angry. Yeah. What? And he ran away.
They would ride around on motorcycles, smoking marijuana with the young bikers, and then they'd take the children, boys and girls, and do those kinds of things with them. I have filed a report, and I have witnesses.
What do you know about this person, Mumbuyo? Maybe your own experience with him.
He had little street kids. He'd pick up little kids like he was trying to help them. But then he'd anally rape them.
He liked those things like selling drugs. He likes those people who sells were his friends, and he liked them very much. Because when he was having problems with people, other places he was like paying them even to go do some bad stuff. So to those people, like beating them, he say go beat someone because he did this and this to me, so that I can pay you. He did things like that. He took people, give them money, go beat someone, make him choke, like that, make him bleed. Yeah, there are times I hear him with his own words, he say things like that.
He is not allowed to enter here in Tanzania. Okay? They told me, immigration people, that he is not allowed to enter here in Tanzania. And once we found him, including his host, he will be taken to the court. Okay? Because it's illegal for whatever they identified it.
If Jakub can go to jail, it will not be good pain to him. I think that he should go to jail and he should do a very hard work to pay for what he was done.
He's a monster. He's not a human being. He's a real bad person. People like this, they're not supposed to be in this planet.
Let's ask ourselves a question. How many good people from the Czech Republic and Slovakia sent money in good faith, just wanting to help children? All it took was one psychopath, and he destroyed it all. He betrayed their trust, ruined the community, stole the money, and ruined lives. The lives of innocent children who saw hope in him from the very beginning. And then he just ran away. And today, he appears in the media as an expert, gives lectures on so-called dangerous cults, and has become the Czech face of an anti-cult extremist network. But Jahl isn't the exception. He is the prime example. All the activists in this international anti-cult network of Dworkin, with its extremist and terrorist-like ideology, from Jahl all the way to Dworkin himself, exhibit the same psychopathic traits: violence, spreading hatred, persecution, terror, and the destruction of lives through manipulation and power over others. And their hypocrisy is that they present themselves as fighters against sects and cults, claiming to protect society from threats. But do they have any respect for people's actual rights and freedoms? They claim to care about children, to be their defenders. But look at what they really do. They are pedophiles, coprophiles, and sadists.
In Africa, Jahl was doing exactly what he's doing in the Czech Republic today. He just changed the scenery. A few years ago, it was the fight against poverty. Now it's the fight against cults. But the core of his actions remains the same, destroying human lives under feel-good slogans. Today, following the example of the Nazis, he compiles blacklists and spreads false accusations and hatred toward innocent people. And his tendencies toward Nazism were already on public display more than 10 years ago, when he burned the Israeli flag in a town square in front of a synagogue. That's why I compared him to Alexander Dworkin in the first documentary, because it was this very psychopath who unleashed a wave of persecution and attacks against numerous minority groups in Russia. It's because of him that basic human rights in Russia are being increasingly suppressed. Meanwhile, Dworkin is a man with documented psychiatric diagnoses, sadistic tendencies, and according to witness testimony, a pedophilic perversion known as coprophilia. And this is exactly why we should once again recall the father and his son, the one who experienced this depravity firsthand.
He raped my friend. I pooped in his mouth and he was very happy. I was very scared. Jakub raped my friend and I ran away.
Look at another face of Dworkin's totalitarian sect. In Ukraine, a very active follower of Dworkin is Irina Kremenovska, a woman who, in the past, tortured dogs and claimed that the suffering of dogs is a symphony for her ears. And then, think back to Joseph's testimony, describing how Jahl would poison dogs on the street.
So I was get people complaining from the chairman of the street where I was living there. He told me it's a medicine he puts on the road. And then when you come in morning, you see like more than 10, 20 dogs, they die. So I reading what kind of medicine he was give them. I saw Jakub was give something to the dogs there. And these dogs, they pass away. So what is the gift? I say I didn't know.
So, as they say, birds of a feather flock together. That is why Jahl repeatedly references Kremenovska in his videos. And what about her companion? A man whose last name is Sviatogor. He is known as a dog hunter, has been investigated repeatedly, and open sources have reported that he is also a pedophile.
So we can clearly see here that all the activists in this network are exactly the same. And Jahl is obviously connected to them, rhetorically, organizationally, and ideologically. The same pattern we can find in the US, with people like Stephen Hassan and Rick Allen Ross, whom we also mentioned in the first documentary. Both were active in the anti-cult organization CAN, which went bankrupt after facing numerous lawsuits and court proceedings. And the reason was precisely because of accusations of violent deprogramming, where people were locked up against their will and subjected to both psychological and physical abuse.
There's also something that has given us hope. And that's the fact that this network is now being discussed at a high level in the United States.
In May 2025, government and public officials gathered at a forum in Washington. With support from U.S. government circles, a clear demand was made to launch an international investigation into the anti-cult network, to prosecute its members, and to impose sanctions on all those who provide cover for this criminal activity, including experts and agents of influence within government structures. And we unequivocally support this call from Washington.
But what's the situation in Europe? We all remember the case of one prosecutor in Europe who stood up to defend the rights and freedoms of the people, who protected public safety and launched an investigation into this extremist network, including the predator we are talking about in this film. And what happened then? Within a few weeks, over 400 smear articles were published in the media. Articles with clear ideological ties to Dworkin's network. And the result? The general prosecutor of that same country, instead of upholding the law and democracy, shut down the entire investigation. He didn't side with the law. He sided with this network of maniacs. So, in effect, he enabled these sadists to continue their destructive activities freely, while punishing the one person who acted with integrity. And we see similar scenarios playing out in other countries. For instance, in Russia, the general prosecutor is initiating moves to label the Allatra organization as extremist. Or in Ukraine, where criminal prosecutions are being launched based on the fabricated reports of their agent, Kremenovska. And so I have to ask, what is motivating these prosecutors? Are they knowingly serving this network? Are they doing it out of fear? Or is someone blackmailing them? what's really going on here. Any reasonable person stands on the side of children and the future. But people like Dvorkin in Russia, Kremenovska and Sviatogor in Ukraine, Ross and Hassan in the USA, Jahl in the Czech Republic, and other activists of the anti-cult network bring pain and suffering to children. That is why such extremists cannot be tolerated by society. Because their ideology, known as anti-cultism, is every bit as destructive as Nazism and should therefore be banned worldwide. And that is why we fully support the demand made at the Washington Forum.
And as we already said today, although the story of Jakub Jahl in Africa is absolutely appalling, this documentary deserves a positive ending. And for me, that ending is a reminder of how important it is to never lose faith in people. Because even though there is so much evil and pain in the world, even though there are parasites who feed on the suffering of others, there are still people who bring humanity and care for others into this world. People who don't look for someone to blame, but look for solutions. People who don't wait for someone else to fix things, but they start with themselves. And it is precisely these people who today represent the greatest hope for the future of our civilization. Each of us has a choice to make, to stay silent or to speak up, to turn a blind eye to evil or to stand up against it, to destroy or to help. And we have made our choice. We stand on the side of truth, on the side of life. And we will never back down.